everyone. Thanks a lot for stopping by this morning and joining us for our second annual Earth Day event. Before we get started, just a couple quick housekeeping notes here. Restrooms are straight across the hallway. Please feel free to help yourself to coffee, refreshments in the refrigerator over there. There's some Danish donuts over there. Informal day today. We're going to have some fun with Earth Day. Sun's shining out there. Great day for this. So again, thanks to everybody for stopping by today. For our members joining us online, if you have any questions, please place it in our chat area, and we'll get to those questions after each session. So we'd like a lot of participation here. Again, we really thank you a lot for stopping by today. So lastly, Bill McKim, our CEO, was not able to be here today, so we have a video that he put together that we'd like to share with you right now. So.
On behalf of Midland Power Cooperative, let me welcome you to our 2024 Earth Day event. I'm Bill McKim, CEO of Midland Power Cooperative. And for over 54 years, Earth Day has been celebrated and also served as a great reminder of the need to recognize all the benefits of a clean earth, a great outdoors, and the quality of life that it brings. And for over 80 years, we've been contributing to those same things. The delivery of reliable and affordable electricity has improved people's lives through a consistent supply of clean water, cool homes in the summer, warm homes in the winter, and refrigeration. It's also improved through technology the lives and brought health care and better educational opportunities. So we compliment and we're excited about celebrating today. Midland Power is also committed to the great outdoors through our volunteer days. We want rural Iowa to be a great place to live and a great place for people to enjoy the great outdoors. Through our volunteer days, we've done work at state parks across our service territory, from Ambrose State Park in Kossuth County, to the Ledges State Park in Story County, to the Calkins Nature Center in Hardin County. We have given days and time volunteer to help make these places great places for our members and our communities and the people of Iowa to enjoy. In addition, we're also committed to sustainability and beneficial electrification, helping our members use electricity wisely, efficiently, and safely. We've invested in sustainable resources like our community solar project up in Hardin County. And through our ownership in 3 G&T systems, we have seen a growth in wind and solar investments, diversifying our portfolio and bringing more sustainability to our power supply, all in the interest of contributing to a better Earth and complementing the goals set out by Earth Day. So thank you for joining us today, and I hope you enjoy our event.
It goes without saying we have a very proactive CEO here at Midland Power Cooperative. He really looks towards the future and what we're trying to do here towards energy efficiency. With that, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start out. We have a special panel today of Midland Power members who are EV owners. So we're going to have a little discussion here. We're excited that they joined us today. So at this time, I'm going to hand it over to Dan Olson. He is our Energy Services Advisor up at our Iowa Falls location. So take it away, Dan.
Thanks, Roger. We have a group of panelists here today. Jenny Johansson here. And she has a... Are you currently in the market for a EV?
I am, but I have owned 2 electric vehicles in the past. They were both Nissan Leafs.
Okay. Well, that's nice then. Kevin? You have a Rivian, I know that.
Yeah, it's a Rivian R1T.
Yeah. And then Thomas, you own a plug-in hybrid, a Toyota RAV4.
That's RAV4 Prime.
Prime, okay. Okay, well, wonderful. Well, let's get started here, and thank everybody for being here. It's nice to have you guys here to join us to answer questions and talk about some of the stuff. So, some of the questions that we have for all of you in the audience is probably going to let you know. The other 2 electric cars that you've had, Jenny, did you have good luck with them?
Yeah, I love them.
You did?
Yes, the first one was in an accident with a school bus. I was parked and the school bus just backed into my car. So that had nothing to do with it being an electric vehicle. It was just one of those strange things that happened. And the first thing I did was went out and bought exactly the same thing over again because I loved it so much.
So the question for all three of you, answer in order if you want. What's the best thing you like about driving your EV? What's your favorite thing about that car?
Who wants to go first?
I will. Yeah, I love mine. I've had it since December of 2022, so I've had it for a year and a half. Been great, no problems with it at all. I love the responsiveness and the drive. It's like driving a supercharged golf cart. It's a lot of fun. Goes fast. The acceleration and the torque on it. It's pretty fun to drive.
So Thomas, you're the only one that has a plug-in hybrid. Why did you take that route? What was your decision to make to want to have a plug-in?
Well, I'll take a long story and condense it. We were looking for a vehicle in 2020, and of course the pandemic hit, and then we realized we didn't really need a vehicle. And then all of a sudden 21 comes around, pandemic is still kind of going on, and then all of a sudden supply chain becomes an issue. And so we went in panic mode and tried to look for a vehicle, and we just happened to hear about this RAV4 Prime, and I'm using that in quotes because that distinguishes the regular RAV4s from the one that has a battery and an engine like ours. And so unfortunately the Midwest was not in the allocation of that vehicle, and I had to fly to New Jersey to pick it up and drive it back. So we really love it. It gives us kind of the best of both worlds. We can go about 42 miles to 50 miles depending in the normal conditions. If it's cold, it's about 35. But we can go battery that way, and then after the battery drains down to a certain level, then the engine kicks in, and it becomes a regular hybrid like you would see like a Prius or whatever. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's what we like about it.
Okay. Good to hear. You really can't tell a big difference when it's running on. Can you hear the motor run?
Barely.
The Leaf, I don't think you could hardly hear it run at all.
Oh, it is so quiet. That's my favorite thing about it.
Yeah. The engine is very quiet. You'll hear it a little bit more if you're like on the highway pulling a hill. Okay. But other than that, it's really quiet.
Okay. How do you guys prefer to charge your cars? What was your charging habits?
So I charge mine overnight and get a full charge overnight because I've got the level 2 charger installed in my home. Okay. And it works great.
You just plug it in when you get home, just let the car do its thing? Yeah,
and there's a couple neighborhoods have thought about that. Some people think that it isn't good to give it a full charge all the time. So you can go a week and let it get down to, whatever you feel comfortable with, 75% charge without getting too nervous because, what if something happens and I need to drive 100 miles the next day or something? But, then you just top it off. It's so convenient. Now I drive by gas stations and I don't get upset about what the number says on the sign.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. I've got a level 2 charger in my garage. So I charge, I just drive it around the Ames area for the most part. So I charge a couple times a week, maybe. And I let mine, I can set the charging so I don't let it go below 15%, and I charge it up to about 85% as full. Mm-hmm. That extends the life of your battery if you try to keep it in that range. And then if I go on a long trip, I'll charge it all the way to 100%, just so I have more range, because I can go, if I put it in conserve mode, I can go about 330 miles on a full charge. I've taken it on some trips to Hackensack, Minnesota. That's a pretty long trip, but I stopped once in St. Paul, charged for about whatever time it takes to eat lunch at Perkins and grab some groceries at the Target. So it's about a half hour, 45 minutes, and then takes us up to the lake in Hackensack.
How about you? How important is it to you to plug your car in?
Well, we started with a level 1 charger, and I guess, for folks that don't understand level 2, level 1 is like just regular household current. You plug it in and there you go. So most vehicles came with a level 1 charging cord. We purchased a level 2, which is 240 volts. So you have to get an electrician to come in and wire and all that. But the charge time really goes down. So for my vehicle, which is 18 kilowatt battery, a level 1 took about 12 hours if I was totally empty to fill it up. Now with the level 2, it's charged in 2.5 hours. So like I said, we started with the level 1, then we upgraded to the level 2. My wife doesn't work that, it's my wife's vehicle. So she doesn't work that far from home. So we probably plug it in about 3 times a week to fill it up until it has technology where it optimizes the last 15% so it doesn't overcharge or wear out your battery. Plus they have a really good battery warranty, a drive battery warranty.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper than gas.
It is.
It is.
Have you ever done the math on it?
Yeah, I have. You know, it's less than half. I know that. And I like the environmental benefit of an EV.
So as far as charging on the road, have you had any inconvenience that you felt was a problem anywhere you went? Were you comfortable driving that car anywhere you want? I know you didn't buy the car to travel around the world.
Yeah, the only time I've ever had a problem is in Ames. I had to charge at the Come and Go in Ames, and there was one of the chargers was down, and there was a Tesla charging, and I wanted to charge, but I didn't have to wait too long, and they were done. So that was the only time I had to wait on a charge, and then I've never had a problem charging on the road. They've all worked, and they've all been. I look for the fast chargers, and you can find them on the map. And very soon, Rivian's going to be sending me an adapter so I can start using all the Tesla superchargers. So that's going to be awesome. A lot more. They have like 50,000 superchargers in America. Really going to expand my network.
Oh yeah. The other two think you've had an impact at your power bill. Have you seen a difference in your power bill from plugging them in? You haven't noticed it?
No, I have not.
Okay. And you already said you know what.
I don't know because we moved to Ames in October, so I was charging ever since. So it's been the same.
For me, our electric bill was running when we get the level 2, or even with the level 1, we were about $15 or $20 a month higher than what we were normally. We've been in our house since 2019, so I had a pretty decent track record of what we were using. And so yeah, about $15, $20 a month to keep it plugged in is great.
I'll add to that too, so we moved from Iowa City to Ames. When I was in Iowa City, there are quite a few charging stations in Iowa City that are free. If you go to the grocery store or parking ramps or my office, we had free chargers. So they're all level 1, so they were slow. I didn't get a whole lot of charge out of them, but it's nice that they're around and the public can use them for free.
So, have any of you taken one of your friends for a ride in your car? What was the impression they got from that ride?
Oh yeah, everybody loves it.
Yeah.
They're all intrigued. They ask lots of questions. I would say that if you are curious about an electrical vehicle, the first thing you want to do is find somebody who owns one and just ask them questions, because we love to talk about our EVs. And the more comfortable you get with an electrical vehicle and the more people you know who drive one, the easier it is to get into it. That first time is really scary. My brother owns an EV. I bought an EV. I probably called him 3 times on the way home after I picked it up, because just, tell me what I do, how do I get this to charge? Just different questions that I had about it, and it didn't take too long before I was pretty comfortable. But the key to getting into an EV is knowing someone who drives one that you can call for help when you have questions.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. I got to drive my brother's Tesla, and I thought, I want one of these, but I wanted to pick up. So I was searching and saw the Rivian, and I bought it on my phone. I'd never seen one, but I pre-ordered it, and then I got it 8 months later. Yeah, about 8 months later.
The thing that I like to do is I live off of George Washington Carver. Hopefully Ames Police Department isn't watching or listening. But I'll put it in the sport mode, and at least for the RAV4 Prime, I don't know what the horsepowers are there, but with the engine and the drive battery together, it's 305 horsepower. So that thing just takes off like a rocket, which is just it surprises a lot of people. It actually pushes you back in the seat a little bit. And with any electric vehicle, even if you've been in a golf cart, you hit the gas, it's direct energy right to the back tires. It's not having to go through a transmission or whatever. So you really feel the pull of that vehicle. So yeah, I like to show them what it does 0 to 50.
Oh yeah.
So I stayed in the speed limit.
Yeah, I do that. I do that a lot too. I always stay in the speed limit, but it's fun to take off and have the G-forces pull you back.
Yeah.
The passenger always just goes, whoa.
How many electric vehicles did you test drive before you bought one? I know you bought yours. One. You bought yours too?
0. I did not try an electric vehicle.
None?
Just the one.
Okay. What's the best feature of your EV?
I like how quiet it is. I already mentioned that, so I get a bonus. And that is 0 emissions. It makes me feel so good when I drive this, knowing that I'm doing just a little part to help the environment. And I know that there's arguments about, oh, we're still using fossil fuels to create the batteries. But on the other end of it, 0 emissions. And you just know that that's making a huge impact, not stinking up the cities.
Yeah, especially in Iowa where the power is generated with over 60% of renewables in Iowa, and that's pretty awesome. I like the gear tunnel in the Rivian. There's a tunnel that goes through the truck, perfect size for my golf clubs, so they slide right in.
I like the performance of the vehicle, and it's got a really nice stereo system. So when I listen to my Greta Van Fleet, I really like that.
That's good. Then. What's the worst feature of the EV you've had? One thing that sticks out.
I guess for me, I'm not really all that techie, a little bit, but it's all run on the software, so you have to relearn, like to move the air vents. I have to go to the screen and then physically move it with my finger where I want the air vent to go. There's a lot of little things that you have to learn that are a little different than the standard car. It's a little annoying, but you learn it after time.
It's the backup beeping because it doesn't have an engine. It is so quiet, and you're parked in a parking lot and you start to back up. Pedestrians around you are not going to know you're moving. And so they've designed the safety feature in there. And yes, it makes it safer, but the beeping is the only thing I don't like about it.
Well, that's good.
But I haven't hit any pedestrians. So.
Just a school bus.
It hit me. I was parked. The car was off.
I'm sorry, repeat the question one more time.
What is the worst feature of EV? One thing you just don't like?
I would probably, the beeping is one thing. We have, we call it singing angels. So we put this thing in reverse and it's like, and it's, the kids are like looking, our next door neighbor's like, what the heck is going on?
Mine is a spaceship. Yeah,
yeah, like a spaceship. And then the other thing is more probably Toyota related. The technology inside the vehicle, the convenience and features and stuff are a little bit behind the times of other vehicles. So I wish it was a little different that way.
Okay. So another question I'm sure people have asked you, range anxiety. You get any anxiety over, oh my, what if I hurt my foot? I got to the hospital in the middle of the night, that kind of thing. Do you have a little bit of that?
No, because I have a plug-in hybrid, so I don't worry about it.
No.
Yeah, because I like to drive mine long distances, and I'll push it to the limit. And I had to come to grips with the slower you drive, the faster you get there, because driving slower, and then you stop the charging station, and it takes less time to charge. So overall, your trip time goes down. But driving slower to get there faster was a little bit of a mental challenge for me. But actually, you know what? It is so relaxing now because I just drive my EV and I've allotted that kind of time to get there, and it's so much more peaceful to drive more slowly and not feel so hectic, and as a single mom of 3 daughters, we're always we're always dashing to a million different places. But you just get used to this idea that we drive slower to get there faster.
So do you think your car is basically a computer on wheels? Feel that car is completely driven by the computer?
A little bit. I can tell you one thing that's nice about the Rivian is I've had a couple of minor issues, and I can call the service number, and with 2 rings, a human being answers the phone, and I can talk to them. It's really nice. And I've had I called them because our sun visor came off the roof, and I couldn't get it reconnected. And they had a mobile unit that came to my driveway, and they fixed that, and there were 2 or 3 other minor things that they fixed. They come to the Ames area every week, so any Friday I can have them stop by my driveway and do. And then the guy was in the driveway and goes, "Hey, do you want your tires rotated?" I'm like, "Sure." So they did that, and they did it all for free. So
that leads right
nice.
into the next question. It's lower maintenance costs all the way around, but is it a higher cost of tires to maintain tires on that vehicle?
Yes. For mine, it is.
Yeah.
Because it's heavy?
Expensive. They're like $1,200 a piece.
Oh.
And I've
wow.
shopped around to Tires Plus, and yeah, they're going to be expensive.
And
I'll probably replace them maybe before this coming winter. But
will they offer you that service to come and do it at your house?
I think so. I guess I haven't asked them, but they probably will. I've learned too that it's better to drive in standard mode. So the quad motor, I have a motor on each wheel. It's better on the tires. And then on a long trip, I'll put it in conserve mode so I get a better range. But you learn that.
I've replaced the tires on the RAV4 Prime already.
And those are standard tires, I believe, isn't it?
They're EV rated tires, because the battery, at least for the RAV4 Prime, is about 700 pounds. So it's much more weight. The nice thing about the RAV4 is that the battery is sitting below the frame, so the center of gravity is very low. So it's a very stable vehicle. But I had to buy new tires, and I had to be particular of what I got because of the extra weight. And I don't know if it really cost me. They were 19-inch tires, so you're going to pay more anyway for those anyway. So I think all of mine out the door was like $1,200 total.
So that could be the same on a normal tire change for a good set of tires.
For a real good set of tires, yeah.
What's the most creative use for your frunk?
I didn't have a frunk.
You do. You have a pretty good size.
But I like the golf club storage, though.
And your golf club, you said, fit in the tube really well.
I put our groceries, they go in the trunk, and I don't know, I just put normal trunk stuff in the frunk.
Okay.
I don't have a frunk, but we have it's a hatchback, so we have a trunk. And the nice thing about when you have an EV vehicle, typically they'll come with a 120 volt plug-in, which we do have.
Yeah.
So we've actually plugged a couple things in the back there, and it's run off the battery, and it's great. You can do everything from a heater if you're a soccer parent, or you're making margaritas at the tailgate at the Iowa State game.
No, that sounds
so that's pretty nice.
So I think it's time to open up for our audience here to ask questions. You guys okay, comfortable with that?
Sure.
If everybody has any questions for the panel here, go ahead.
So you were talking about range anxiety. We just came back from, let alone land has been awful. We're in that. What do you do? I mean, over and off or off? How do you?
What the question is he was recently made a big trip, and basically asked what they would do for their range anxiety if they had to pull over, or what they would do for that situation. To wait for a charger station is what you had to wait for.
We're already driving, and we're in.
Okay.
And we're in it for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I can tell you, like on my Rivian, the map that I use to find chargers, it also shows you green, yellow, red congested areas. So if you're running really low on range and you see a big red ahead, I would probably veer off and find a charging station and kind of wait it out and do something like that. I've never had to experience that, luckily, yet, but that's what I would probably do.
You're not running your battery down if you're not moving. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
I guess there are little things that I have done in the past where if I'm thinking, oh, I might not make it to the charging station, well, I turn the heater off or air conditioning off. Just whatever you can do to just cut back on what your battery usage is and just drive slower.
So none of you have a battery charge.
No, but I've coasted in at 0.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, that's. Yeah. I don't recommend it, but it worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and my dad, when I first bought it, you know, he was nervous about me running out because I guess he's known me quite a while. He knows this could happen, and he just says, you know, if you gotta walk up to a rural house, chances are maybe they've got some 240 for a welder or something like that. And you know, people in Iowa, pretty nice. You just knock on the door. You got anything that runs 240? Can I charge here for a little bit? You never know. You might meet somebody nice.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know about Nashville though. Oh, well, there you go.
Yes, sir. You have a question too?
Yeah, on the RV plug hybrid, you have the capability hybrid battery while you're driving.
Did you
Did
get
want to
that
repeat
question?
it? Yeah, I understood the question. Did you want to repeat it?
Yeah. He was wondering if on the Toyota RAV4 if the engine will recharge the battery by itself.
Great question. The answer is yes. So I have the ability, if you were on the, say, the highway, and you didn't have any charge left, even though they do keep a reserve on that battery, but you can't really tap it. There's a button you can push, and it will actually start charging up the battery. Now, it's not very efficient. I can tell you that, and the gas mileage is going to go down. But it is a great little thing. I've taken it to places where there's been some long hills, and I'll actually press that button and let my foot off the gas and let the regenerative brake, not braking, but regenerative charging do that. Plus also when you tap on the brakes, as you alluded to in your question, it helps regenerate the battery. Now it isn't instantaneous, it's not going to be as efficient as if it was plugged in, but that's the beauty of this system. It does help itself maintain a level of battery. Yes, it's a dial. It doesn't like give a straight percentage, but there's a gauge you can see.
And we had a member that had a question. They were asking about lossing whether as far as.
Okay, the question that Roger just asked in the panel, is there a change in how far you can drive basically in cold weather? Is cold weather a problem for your car?
Significantly decreases the range, as does, excuse me, as does a headwind. So I really pay close attention to the weather so that I can think about where my next charging station is going to be if I'm going to go on a long trip.
Yeah, I noticed it too. I've never had a problem with it. I don't know if how significant it is with the Rivian, but yeah, it's definitely lower in really cold weather.
Same thing with the RAV4 Prime. It's the battery is definitely affected by cold weather. Like I said earlier, normally we can get about 42 miles range on the battery. If it's December, January, February, that number goes down to about 30.
And the car will actually forecast that for you. You pull out of the garage, you're on the road for 3 or 4 minutes, it's going to forecast that for you and give you a warning so you know what you have?
Mine has what we term as a guessometer. So when you first hit the button, it will pop up and tell you what the range of that battery is. But again, it's an estimate. It's not, this is exactly what you're going to get. And as she alluded to, it's dependent on how you drive. You cannot get that type of range 75 miles an hour on I-35. Okay. You know, and headwinds really do affect it. Yes.
Yeah. Same with mine. It gives you a guesstimate of what your range is. When I first got it, I didn't think that thing was all that accurate. And then they update their software. Rivian updates your software, I don't know, once a month. And a couple of the updates have updated that feature of the vehicle. So now it's pretty accurate. So you know pretty close to how many miles you have left.
Anybody else have any questions?
So you buy tires, buy them
I haven't had to buy them yet, but yeah, my understanding is I can, but I don't think they're going to be any cheaper. It sounds like, at least that's from Tires Plus. He quoted me around $1,100, something like that per tire. It's a 21-inch tire. So.
Yes.
But that weight, let me just tell you, is also a plus, because my 21-year-old daughter was driving our Nissan Leaf, and she was in an accident, and I'm telling you, she was fine. The car was smashed, but I feel it's the weight of the car. It made it such a solid steel cocoon for her that she was just fine. She was barely injured, just a few bruises. And so if anybody's thinking about, is an electric vehicle a good vehicle for my family, I would say absolutely. If you've got teenage drivers, you put them in this vehicle, it's going to be probably the safest vehicle for them to be driving. And if it's a second vehicle for you, then you really can control the way that you use it for short distances. You know, a teen driver going back and forth to school, it's ideal. And maybe it's not your primary family vehicle for long trips because maybe you don't have that comfort level yet, but I mean, you just can't beat it.
The other aspect, how often?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, I think that's all the time I have for today.
You have one more question.
Oh, okay. Yep.
With the batteries, I know they've gone to a large extent being more efficient. What are in these batteries in the accident with batteries? What's the caustic in what's?
So I think the question is what basically boils down, what is the safety of that battery? Yeah. What's in the battery? And I think they're all different. And I don't think most EV cars, you guys don't know what the batteries and what they are.
I don't know.
That'd be something you'd have to get technically. All the cars have different batteries. So you'd have to really do your own research to find out which one has what within them.
You know, the old batteries had lead and sulfuric acid.
Yes.
So these don't have that type of chemical.
No.
No. Yep.
So, you know, going back to like where these all this, do we know whether many batteries are in the States?
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you for the RAV4 Prime, the RAV4 Prime is only made in Japan right now. I've been told that they're going to start making them in one of the U.S. factories that Toyota has, but right now it's only in Japan. I don't know where the material is necessarily coming from, but yeah, the batteries are not made here in the USA. I can tell you that.
But some of the batteries are, and so you can go onto the list of the vehicles that are eligible for federal tax credits, and that list will tell you the vehicles that have the U.S. made batteries, like the SK-On battery for the Volkswagen versus the, I forget what the other one is, but if you're looking, if you know what to look for, then you know that you can get a battery that's made in the United States, and that list of the federal tax credit eligible vehicles will be those batteries.
Yeah, I'm not sure where our batteries are made from either. I had the opportunity to visit the Rivian manufacturing plant. They only have one, and it's in Normal, Illinois, and that's where I went to pick up my truck. So I got a tour of the factory. I got to see it made in different stages. Really cool to watch that. And then you can also see all the Amazon vans that they're constructing too, and it was kind of neat to watch.
Yes, sir.
Bit off subject, but driving ICE vehicles, we pay for road use tax with our gasoline.
Yeah.
EVs are heavier, they technically going to use up the roads more. Where's that money going to come from if it shifts more to EV than
property taxes?
fuel?
Well, I have an answer for
That would
that.
be a
Have you
political
heard anything about
decision.
that?
Okay, the question is, he's concerned about maintaining our roads, and because the EVs are not paying road use tax at this time. And I think one of our panelists has a good idea of what is going to happen here.
So Iowa, when you register your vehicle, if you have a plug-in hybrid, you pay an extra premium on top of the normal annual renewal of your
Just a
tag.
percentage?
I think it's a dollar amount. I don't know if it's a flat rate. If
And
you
it's
have
a lot.
If you have an EV only vehicle, it's even higher.
It's $130.
Okay, so I think
There's a tax on
Mhm.
out at
Just never hear anything about that.
yeah. No, so they've right-sized it a little bit. I don't know if it's perfect, but you know, we're not getting away scot-free. I can tell you that.
Well, what I heard when they started at $130 is a lot more than the average.
And so for those of you watching on Facebook, the comment was it's $130 a year for an electric vehicle that you pay on your registration fees, and that on top of the registration fees, and that is supposed to help offset the road tax that other internal combustion engine people are paying at the pumps.
Okay. One more question over here.
Will there be, like with people that have heat pumps, electric homes, used to be on, will there be a reduced rate if charging was?
I believe our position is that it will be a time of use rate is what we're kind of working forward to. But there's also a demand factor that will be figured into that eventually. So it's coming. We're trying to convert to make sure we treat all our membership fair.
And we do try to charge overnight at those low use times so that we're not putting demand on the grid during those peak usage.
And with your cars, each one of you can choose when you charge with a simple program in that car.
Yeah.
So they have control of their own power bill, basically.
Yep.
And then going to that, we do offer a $500 rebate for a level 2 charger.
Yes, you do.
Have you guys taken advantage of that?
Sure
Yes,
did.
Well, that's good then.
Yep. And there's a rebate for the installation costs as well.
I'll pay for half of one of my tires.
And all that information is actually on our website. And I know if you look through our website and go through our detailed, everything you need's on there. We are contactable. We're in every one of us, our numbers on the website to reach any one of us or any comments or concerns you have. Yes, sir.
So there's the up to 50% of the cost of a charger. There's also a federal tax credit. So I charger.
Yep. And then we started a co-op sponsored an EV car club that we have. You can go take a short video here. We're offering to get the drivers together and have your own club and get people to talk that have EV cars. The group we're forming. And then our first car show will be in the Boone office on May 11th at 8 to 10 o'clock if anybody wants to come. And with that said, we are offering some limited edition hats that we have right over here for our members that come. We made our own hats, printed them. It has our logo and our name on it, the back, Touchstone Energy. But we'll be giving these hats away to anybody that comes and joins our club and socializes. This is just a social event to talk about your car with other people who have the same interest.
Mail on it, okay.
Well, I'd like to recap, and I really appreciate all you guys coming here and helping and talking and answering questions. I'd like to thank you guys for something. Thank you again. I appreciate it.
No problem.
I really appreciate it. You don't have to get
Thanks, Danny. And thanks to our panel for all the great discussions, really good information. I think I'd have to piggyback on what Jenny might have said about if you're looking at an EV, talk to the people that own one. I think that's a first step. Really a lot of good information. We really thank our panelists for stopping by. So we're going to change gears here a little bit and move into some of the programs and some of the things that we do here at Midland Power as far as moving into some of our more energy efficient programs and things like that. So I'm going to bring on Larry Belke. He's our Energy Services Advisor up in our Humboldt area. Larry's going to talk to us a little bit about heat pumps and some of these types of systems that are kind of moving more into the future, and we'll see if Larry can enlighten us a little bit more on some heat pump technology. So Larry, take it away.
Thanks, Roger. Like Roger said, I'll be talking about heat pumps today and the fact that Midland Power Cooperative is all in on heat pumps. We support and encourage the use of heat pump technology, both for energy savings, for savings, cost savings to you, the member, and also for savings of our earth. Heat pump technology is one of the greenest forms of energy that you can purchase, readily available today, and like I say, we are all in on supporting that. Pump up your savings with heat pumps. Our idea with that comes from the savings that you get from heat pump technology, which basically is coming from the amount of kilowatt hours that you buy or need to use from a heat pump. When you couple that with special rates from Midland Power, that even equates into a greater savings for you, and it pushes you down so you're lower. Your average cost to operate is considerably lower than if you were heating your home with an applicable gas furnace or something like that. So that's why we are there again, all in on heat pumps. And here we'll have a short video that kind of explains on how a heat pump works for you.
An electric heat pump is the most energy-efficient home heating and cooling option available today. That's because electric heat pumps work by moving heat that already exists. This is more efficient than traditional natural gas or propane furnaces that create heat via the process of combustion. In fact, an electric heat pump can produce up to 3 times more heat than the energy it uses. Plus, an electric heat pump doubles as the highest efficiency air conditioner you can find. Installing an electric heat pump can improve your home's energy efficiency, reduce your energy consumption, and help you save money on your utilities. An electric heat pump can help you enjoy savings with staying power, including lower overall energy bills, potential equipment rebates, and tax credits. To learn more, visit savingswithstayingpower.com or contact your local electric provider.
All right. So why heat pumps? Well, there again. The most efficient way you can cool. Granted, 2 to 3 times more efficient than a conventional furnace. A conventional furnace can today's technology can get you roughly to 98% efficient, which sounds very high, but there is always a certain amount of that heat that goes out the flue on a gas appliance. Heat pump technology actually, without actually creating heat, it transfers the heat. And it can do that using less energy, and in fact, the BTU ratio that a heat pump produces is 2 to 3 times more than what your gas furnace can do. Which equates out to lower operating costs because you're going to be using less kilowatt hours to do so. A conventional baseboard heat-resistant heater is at an energy efficiency rating of 1 because it actually puts out 100% of the heat that it uses, the power that it uses to make that heat, where a heat pump actually puts out more BTU heat than the energy that it uses. So heat pumps are also innovative and green. The new inverter style compressors that are used in heat pumps excuse me, allow for variable speed operation. So it can control just the amount of heat or work that appliance needs to do. There again, that's what makes it more efficient. The thing about heat pumps too, there again, they're 100% electric, and they support a healthy home environment. You couple that with a heat recovery ventilator, which circulates or brings fresh air into your home. It's a much healthier environment to be in. The types of heat pumps that are readily available today now, and basically going there from left to right, you now get water heater heat pumps. The lower one in the center, that's a conventional air source heat pump, which is basically a 2-in-1 unit. It does both your heating and your cooling, and you have a compressor that sits outside, and that's what you see on the screen there, and you have your air handler, which is inside. In the upper center, that's what's called a mini split system, and that has a compressor that sits outside, and they are the ones that are really some of the highest efficient heat pumps. Their SEER ratings can go well above 20. And they are quite often the inverter type heat pumps. And what you see, the compressor with it says the LG on there sits outside, and you have the indoor unit, which is at the top of there, that white rectangle. And that is mounted up near your ceiling in your home. And with those, then you have right to the right of that is a geothermal. That is probably the most efficient of all heat pumps, utilizing groundwater and a constant temperature of around 50 degrees to transfer that heat from. And then, which is probably one of the newest appliances you can buy in a heat pump model, is a clothes dryer. And I'll be talking about that a little bit later too, individually. So as far as geothermal goes, applications that you can use them on are both large and small buildings, residential homes, of course. I've had my geothermal in my home that I built in 1993. It's been working great, and my average bill runs approximately anywhere from $500 to $700 a year to heat and cool my 3,000 square foot home. They can also be used in agricultural structures for both animal agricultural and machine shops. We have a lot of our area farmers that build a machine shop and use floor heat with the geothermal, because they can also produce hot water. Not only do they create heat for your home, you can actually make heat for your domestic hot water, your showers and dishwashing and so on. There are basically two main systems when it comes to geothermal. One's a forced air system, and that basically it's using the groundwater at some point to make heating air just like a forced air furnace. And then you also have a hydronics units. Hydronics units transfer the heat, the heat from the ground to a water loop that you can actually install in your floor, and that's where you get your floor heat system. It does require either a loop field to be installed out in your yard, or at least to have some kind of freshwater pumping for that. Geothermals are the more expensive unit to put in. An average cost to install is anywhere from $15,000 to $30,000, depending upon how elaborate of a system that you put. Like if you're adding floor heat to that system, it definitely increases the total cost. And also, you can see there we have a savings of basically 76% over propane and 60% over natural gas operating cost on. The other types of air source heat pumps is another one, probably the most commonly installed. They can be used for both whole home, and you can use them like there. The mini split can be used as individual room control with that. The mini splits, you can purchase them with either just the one indoor unit, or up to 5 indoor units can run off of just the one compressor. So, and the upfront cost to install these is pretty wide range. If you're just doing one for a single room, it might be more closer to $2,000, but then you're getting one that's going to be doing your whole home. You can range anywhere from $2,000 to $15,000 on an air source heat pump. So there again, savings of up to 36% over propane and 27% over natural gas. These two. And these, so your water heater and your clothes dryers are probably some of the newer heat pump technologies, although the water heater has been out there for quite a while, but it's just kind of starting to get gain some traction now. A water heater, it'll use about roughly half the energy of what a conventional electric water heater. Midland is currently looking for members to participate in a heat pump water heater pilot program. So if you're interested in that, we see on the slide there that you can go to midlandpower.coop/water heater pilot if you want to check into that and maybe volunteer for that. Heat pump dryers, they're kind of unique because there's no exhaust vent on them. So it makes you wonder, well, where's all this hot, wet air going? Well, it's not wet air or damp air. It's actually works more like an air conditioner, where it is condensate water, and that's drained to your drain with a pipe. So there is no venting it directly outside and blowing that hot air outside. And you can achieve up to about a 28% savings on a heat pump dryer. Looking online, you'll see a heat pump dryer can cost anywhere from $15,000 to almost $3,000 for some of them, but it is a new technology, and as they become more popular, the price will come down just like everything else. So does anybody have, that's kind of the end of my presentation on heat pumps. Does anybody have any questions about heat pumps? Yes. A heat pump water heater, there again, they're higher than a conventional water heater. You're probably going to average around $2,000. The heat pump is actually mounted on the top of the water heater, and you need, for good operation, because it's using the air within your home, you got to have an adequate amount of area for it to draw air from. They suggest anywhere from 700 to 1,000 square feet of basically floor space that it can draw the air from your home to make the hot water. And they also come with, they have electric elements in them. If for some reason the heat pump could not keep up, the elements will act as your backup. Ensure you keep hot water. Yes? Can you repeat that for me? Right? No, you can have your water heater in like a room that's, say, like the utility room 10 by 10, but you have to have it so air can get from the rest of the basement in that. So in other words, like having a vent installed in the door, or a large enough gap under your door into your utility room. Okay. All right. Yep, sorry about that. Yes.
The water heater,
right. It would be tied into your main panel, your regular, just like our water heaters are now. What might be is when you're thinking of geothermal, you can tie your water heater into your geothermal, and that heats your water, which is on the reduced rate. But the elements of that water heater, just like the heat pump water heater, would have to be wired into your main panel. Yes. Mm-hmm.
One slider.
Mm-hmm.
How would that?
Oh.
Would you add that to it?
Okay, the mini split wouldn't be added to an existing furnace. It's the conventional air source heat pump. We call them an add-on heat pump. It's kind of like you can use your furnace, your gas furnace, and it's tied in, and that fan from your gas furnace is what's pushing the air from the air source heat. And that actually can be used to, helps reduce demand in the winter time as well. Yes? Mm-hmm. The question was, will a heat pump water heater increase or decrease the humidity? It decreases your humidity. They actually work basically on the same principle as a dehumidifier. So there again, they do require a drain line to get rid of that excess water. Actually, it cools. It'll actually cool your basement area, and some of that is coming from the dehumidification process. But yes, yeah, the heat is being dumped into the water. Yep, that's where that's going.
Midland.
Yep. We are promoting right now to try that pilot. We want to see how well they're going to operate for us. And but right, they are a technology that is, like I said, is really gaining traction, and people are becoming very interested in it. And it is a cost savings in your energy side of that. So yeah, we'll probably be looking at the Ream brand because of the Marathon has stood up and such longevity with that particular brand of water heater. That's what we'll probably be looking at. All right. Thank you again.
Thanks, Larry. A lot of good information on heat pumps. I'm going to piggyback a little bit off of Larry's presentation. One of the things that heat pumps do for you, your electric co-op, they help us to keep demand costs down. Since these systems, run on a very even plane, they don't spike much. It helps us to keep demand costs down, which inevitably helps us to maintain stable rates, keep your bills down. So again, Larry, great information. So I'm going to ramp up a little bit here and kind of talk about some of the savings as far as rebates, federal tax credits, things like that are involved with putting in these types of systems. Again, Midland has promoted heat pump technologies for years and years. Again, we offer that reduced rate structure out there for putting a heat pump on your lines or on our lines. And so there's some really benefits to our membership for putting heat pump technologies in. So I'm going to help kind of run through some of these tax credits and rebates that are available for some of this stuff. First and foremost, I want to talk about a little bit about how energy conservation and energy efficiency kind of go hand. Am I on the wrong slide? Oh, I'm sorry. Second here to get this working. There we go. All right. We talk about energy efficiency. We talk about energy conservation. They kind of go hand in hand. So just some examples, of energy conservation. These are simple things that we do day to day. Some of the things that when we would talk to our membership, we talk about, simple things like shutting off your lights and appliances when not being used, thermostat controls, washing your laundry in cold water, air drying clothes, carpooling, daylighting. These are things we've talked about, and everybody kind of knows some of these things. Energy efficiency, these are more investments into energy efficiency programs and systems, that help reduce your energy consumption, as well as some of what we're trying to do is reduction in carbon emissions and things like that. So as Larry talked about, you know, we promote heat pump technologies for your heating and cooling systems, heat pump water heaters, Energy Star rated appliances, LEDs versus incandescents. You know, we've talked about that for a number of years. That's probably the cheapest way that you can go out there and use energy more wisely is going to LED lighting. Important HVAC maintenance, weatherization, you know, adding insulation, you know, caulking windows, sealing doors, things like that. Shade trees, planting trees. You know, on Earth Day, it's a great day to go out and plant a tree. So, material reclamation, you know, going out and using materials, you know, that would normally go to the landfill. And energy auditing, you know, this is a service that we offer through Midland Power. We'll come out and take a look at your house for you, you know, see where you're having some problems, maybe help you out with some of those energy things within your home. So. So, the last couple of years, 2 years ago, they initiated the Inflation Reduction Act, and there's a lot of tax credits that are now available for installing this high efficient equipment. So when we start talking about, Larry was talking about air source heat pumps, we're seeing a lot of these systems going in, very efficient systems, really cost effective. You can go out there and get a 30% federal tax credit of up to $2,000 on certain qualifying systems. Some of this stuff is relative to median income. So you got to kind of check with your tax people, your tax advisors, and see if you can qualify for some of these federal credits that are out there. There's a lot of stuff going on out there, and they're really starting to implement these federal credits out there to take advantage of things. Midland also offers a rebate for air source heat pumps. If it's 15 SEER or greater, we can get you $350 a ton. It's pretty simple to get there. I would recommend, if you're putting in a new system, to go at least 15 SEER. The efficiency values and the performance of these systems when you get into the higher SEER readings are just that much better. And again, these systems will qualify for a reduced heating and cooling rate. If it's under 15 SEER, we'll still get you a rebate out there, $200 a ton. We want to promote the heat pump technologies because, again, they're beneficial not only to our membership, but also to your co-op as far as demand reduction and that. Cold climates, that's the mini split systems that Larry spoke about a little bit ago. These things will dip down and heat down into the really cold temperatures. You get down to 0 degrees outside and you can get good performance out of these systems. And so there's $350 a ton for those. Ground source heat pumps, we've been proponents of ground source heat pumps for years and years and years. And again, beneficial to you as a member, beneficial to your co-op as far as demand reduction. Federal credit out there available of up to 30% on eligible costs with no cap for projects placed through 2032. So this is going to be out there a while, these credits, tax credits. Midland rebate, $400 a ton for new units, $450 for a hybrid. If you decide you want to go with a gas backup system, we'll give you a little bit more because there's some benefits there as far as some demand reduction as well. A lot of these programs are under this 25C energy home improvement credit. Here we go. We talked a little bit about the heat pump water heaters. Federal credit of 30% of eligible projects up to $2,000. Midland does have a rebate for that water heater too. If you want to put in a heat pump water heater, $300 a ton for that unit. And again, we're doing some pilot projects out there to see just what some of the savings are for you and for us out there on these systems. Heat pump closed dryer, again, Larry was talking about a little bit more new technology. It does not have heating elements in it. It's all basically just reusable of air inside there. $100 for that unit if you want to try a heat pump clothes dryer out there. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. There's a state point of sale rebate of $840. That's a possibility that's going to be coming up with these proposed credits that may be available after 2024, fourth quarter of 24, early 2025. So you may want to research that as well. Thank you, Ryan. Weatherization, you know, this is going out there and adding insulation to your attic, fixing windows, things like that. Up to $1,200 annually for eligible projects. Insulation and air sealing is available out there. Exterior doors, exterior windows. Midland has a rebate out there as well. If you have electric heat as your main source of heating, which could be your heat pump, our rebate's going to be a little bit better. It's going to be, I'm just going to roll those out really quick. You can take a look at them. You know, up to $600 on air infiltration, foundations, walls, ceilings, things like that. That rebate's going to be less if you have gas heat. There's some numbers up there. It's going to be less because basically we're not offsetting as much of that energy consumption, you know, because it's being used for gas. A lot of people are utilizing these programs these days. They're seeing big benefits out there, you know, and adding insulation and basically just weather sealing, you know, get out the caulk gun. There's some money out there for electrical service upgrades. 30% project costs up to $600 per year when panel, sub-panel, or branch circuits or feeders enable the use of qualified systems like heat pumps and heat pump water heaters. So if you're going to do some improvements out there, that you can go out there and chase some money out there in a federal credit just for some wiring upgrades too. Smart panel project. This is a kind of a new and upcoming system, smart panels, basically. Midland is looking at maybe doing a pilot project out there for somebody who might be interested in taking a look at smart panels out there. We'll offset that cost by 50% if you install a smart panel. The smart panel out there basically is what it says it is. It's a smart panel. It'll go out there and basically tell you where your usage is at, what's going on in your house, things like that. Pretty cool stuff. These are federal programs that money has been allocated to the state through the Inflation Reduction Act. This Homes Rebate Program here. I was expected to receive $60 million for this. From what I understand, the projection on when this money will be available again is toward the latter part of this year or early 25. There's a bunch of money available out there for energy efficiency retrofits in your homes, ranging from $2,000 to $8,000 for individual households. This kind of goes back to insulation and weatherization and all these kind of things. This HERA rebate program. Again, I was expected to get about another $60 million out there for this program. This is a prescriptive rebate program on energy efficiency projects based on household incomes, things like that. Again, a lot of these programs are kind of based on median income, household incomes. And so, again, can't stress enough, you know, talk with your tax advisors if you're looking at trying to go out and utilize some of these programs. This is great money, guys, out there that's going to be available between rebates and federal tax credits and some of these state incentives. You know, you should be out there chasing this stuff. If you have a air conditioner or a heating and cooling system that's needing an upgrade, boy, now's the time to get after this stuff because this money's available out there. I'm not going to go through every one of these, but again, this is kind of moving more into 2025 into some of the future on what some of this money is going to be available for some programs. So, you know, there's going to be weatherization, more weatherization money available out there, smart panel technologies. You can kind of read through that list, and those are some of the projections of what you can go out and retrieve on some of these tax credits coming into the future. So A lot of stuff available out there. So we have an available calculator out there to help you. So if you're looking at, say, putting in a geothermal system, you're going, well, I'm not sure exactly, if I'm going to be able to qualify for the homes program or whatever possible available programs are out there in these federal and state credit stuff. You can go onto this calculator online through our website, punch in your zip code in there, and basically it's going to tell you, possibly, or give you a pretty good idea, what you could be available for tax credits that are available out there. We put this out there. We thought it'd be a really useful tool for you guys, our members, go out there and say, hey, I have no idea where to start. This is a great place for you to start. And I can't stress enough again, talk to your tax people, but good starting point. Go to our website, midlandpower.coop/tax credits, snoop around in there a little bit. And you may find out that, hey, there's some pretty good money available out there for me to improve my system. So give that thing a look. I think it's helpful. I know I kind of rifled through this stuff pretty fast. There's a lot of information and a lot of possible credits out there, but I kind of wanted to give everybody a heads up on what's available out there. And we're more than happy to help. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us, and we'll help you kind of walk through some of these. If there's any questions? Yes, sir.
Existing panel in the home?
Likely, yes. Likely, yes.
Any wiring?
It's basically, no, you're going to probably be using the same wiring that's in there. You're just going to be wiring your existing circuits into new circuits. And yeah, basically what it does is it's monitoring your home for you. So if you have, you can go in there, it's going to tell you what your clothes washer is using, it's running. It may be telling you what your air conditioning is. It's somewhat like smart metering in a sense, it's able to police and monitor these things. So it's pretty neat stuff. And we're going to be digging in and researching the availability and the validity of these things, if they're, beneficial to our membership. Yeah, pretty nice stuff.
Good.
No, would not be. Probably not.
That's where
yeah, and some of that's going to depend on probably if you have parallel metering or subtractive metering. Well, I mean, ultimately, yeah, you'd want to police that as well. You'd want to know what that air source heat pump or your geothermal is used to do. So I would say in that case, then, yeah, you may want to consider, 2 panels. And yeah.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah, all this new technology and stuff like that is really, I think, going to be helpful, for homeowners and stuff like that to really be able to police where their usage is at. And I think you'll find out, there's small little things here and there that you didn't really know about that are easy fixes. So yeah, good questions. So anything else? I just want to kind of back up and just say, Midland is we try to strive to be your source for information. We try to keep up on all this stuff, promotions on these things, and again, we really try to educate ourselves on heat pump technologies and all these things that are beneficial to our member as well as your co-op. So, all right. With that, I'm going to bring on Caleb McKim. He's going to talk to you guys a little bit about solar programs, what's going on in the solar world through the co-op and things like that. So, Caleb?
Thank you, Roger. So today I want to kind of presentations solar spotlight. I want to show you a little bit of what goes into putting a solar estimate together for you. That's something that we can do here at the co-op for you if you're interested. I want to show you the process of from you just being curious on solar all the way to what would this look like if you were to do it. So I'm going to try to pull back the curtain, if you will, give you guys a little bit of an inside scoop on what goes on when you're looking at solar and planning for solar. So first off the bat, just some things to consider as you're thinking about solar is what are your goals? The first thing you need to do is develop a set of goals of what are you really looking after. Some things that people oftentimes mention to me as their goals is they want to save money on their energy bills, they want to help the environment, or they want to be more energy independent. These are all things that a lot of people are looking at these days. And so depending on your goals, you might have different outcomes when you're looking at solar, and it may make more sense for you for one goal or another. Another thing you want to take into consideration is your location. Is this going to be a roof-mounted solar array or a ground-mounted array? Do you have good south-facing roof, some property on that you can put a ground-mount array, and what kind of shading is in those areas? You want to consider cash versus financing. If you pay cash, you don't have to deal with interest on a loan or things like that, which may help your payback be shortened. Lifestyle, what are you doing from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. specifically? That's when you're seeing the most benefit out of a solar array, especially if you don't have a battery backup system. So the more you can use during those times to offset your energy, the more benefit you will see from a solar array. And then lastly, tax credits. I always recommend that you consult with a tax professional to see what you might be eligible for there. So some things you need to do before adding solar. Right off the bat, what can you do to reduce your energy usage? You can look at replacing your old AC unit with a heat pump, as Larry and Roger had mentioned earlier. That's a fantastic thing you can do to help cut back on some of your energy usage and help you save money right off the bat. You can upgrade your old inefficient appliances, sometimes old refrigerators, deep freezes, things like that. And you can probably the easiest thing you can do, and one of the cheapest things as well, is you can just, do you have LED lighting installed throughout your home? You could be amazed at how much just switching from old incandescents to LEDs in your homes, especially in some of the rooms that you use pretty frequently, can help save you money on your bill. Another thing that saving money on your bill does with solar and how that relates is the less you are using, the smaller system you'll need to offset. So that can help save you money on the total cost of a system that you might need as well. After you've done that, or even along the same time as you're doing that, you can give us a call. We want to help you in this process. We want to find out where you're at, what your goals are, so that we can help advise you on what we can do to help you meet your goals. We want to provide you with credible information to help you through that process. As you're going through this process, always recommend as well you get multiple quotes. You know, I always like to recommend get at least 3 quotes. That way you kind of figure out what is this person telling me and how does this stack up with the competition to make sure that you're getting the best deal that best meets your goals. And of course, read reviews, talk with your family, friends, neighbors who may have solar as well, and get some of their feedback on some of the things that they might have experienced. And learn more. So find out what are your local codes with solar. Is there anything you need to take into consideration before you put something up at your own property? And find out if you're eligible for any tax credits. Consult with your tax professional. So when you're talking with the solar companies, you're getting these bids, just some really quick, some 5 red flags to watch for. If they're saying things like eliminate your electric bill or go solar for 0 down, get paid to go solar, you don't need to talk to your electric company, or if they're just overall being pushy, offering you a deal that's only good if you sign within the next 3 hours, 24 hours, something like that. These are just some red flags out there. Sometimes, if it sounds too good to be true, it just might be. Eliminate your electric bill. That's really hard to do with solar. Go solar for 0 down. Most of the time, that is a lease application where you may not get any tax credits in that situation. So if you're going after tax credits, that might not be something you might be looking at. Don't talk to your electric company. We want to talk to you, and anyone who's telling you not to contact us, I'd advise against that. So I mentioned earlier, I want to give you guys the inside scoop on how things work through this process. We've actually put together, we've added a solar calculator online on our website to kind of help through this process and give you guys a little bit of a opportunity to figure out what might work for you in your scenario, just give you guys a good idea. So what I've done here is I've put together a situation where I've took an actual member's home. This is an 1,800 square foot ranch home. We're saying they have good south facing area with no shade to put these solar panels. Their average electric bill is about $200, and we're going to say 75% of it occurs outside of that 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. window. And we're going to say that the annual electricity price increase is about 2%, which is actually double what Midland has historically been. Typically, we're only raising rates an average of 1% per year, which is well below inflation levels. So I'm going to show you the online solar calculator, what that looks like, and then let's take a look here. So for the goals, as I mentioned earlier, some popular ones is to reduce my electric bill, reduce environmental impact, become less dependent on the energy grid. We're going to say that the roof is less than 5 years old. That is also a change from earlier, or not really a change, in addition to the criteria. Their average summer bill is $175. Average winter bill is $225. So this is a 5 kW DC system, pretty common size for your average residential household. We're going to say there's no battery with this system, and I want to show you what it looks like without the federal tax credit. I always start without the tax credit, and then we'll factor it in later as we found out what you're eligible for. So this system, according to our calculator, says this is going to run around $15,000 or so. The average electric bill beforehand was just shy of $2,400 a year, and the new bill with solar would be right around that $1,800 a year. So their estimated annual electric bill savings is a little over $560 a year. The payback period with that 2% inflation rate of energy, if they pay cash, it'd be about 24 years, and a loan would be 27. So let's take a look at it with the tax credits. So this actually, everything else is the same except for that payback period. So with cash, now you're looking at probably an 18-year payback period, or if it's loan, it's about 21. So as you could see, with these results here, solar oftentimes isn't a very quick payback. So if you're looking for a quick return on your investment, looking at a heat pump or something might be a good way to start off. Solar is something that might be good to recommend looking at maybe more down the road for some of those longer term investments. This here is a graph showing a little bit of how that bill breakdown would work on a monthly basis. So the blue areas there is the energy and the cost that you are paying Midland Power. So the amount of energy that you'd still be using from the co-op. The orange there is the solar generation that you would be using yourself from the solar array. And then the yellow is actually any overproduction. So if the solar array is overproducing during that time, the amount of energy that they are selling back to Midland Power, and that's a lot cheaper. I do want to mention it's not a true 1-to-1 ratio. So trying to minimize the yellow will give you the most bang for the buck out of your system. So after you've looked at our online solar calculator, and if you're still looking at solar, we want to help you along in that process. So give us a call. We can give you a more detailed estimate. About 2016, Iowa Choice Renewables was established by 10 RECs across Iowa, including Midland Power Cooperative. And our goal is to give you credible energy information. We'll give you very detailed estimates. We have all of your information at our fingertips. We can get down into 15-minute data and find out just what this could do for you. And if we can even go all the way to offer you a turnkey solar array if you would so like to do that. So this personalized estimate I put together, same member, same circumstances. This is just more detailed. So we have the size of the system is still a 5 kilowatt DC system. The cost estimate with our current cost of materials would be roughly $16,500, so a little bit more expensive. Still south facing. This is a ground mounted system, no shade, and I kept the inflation rate of power constant at 2%. This here is an analysis of what the excuse me, past 12 months of energy is. It's the regular use there in that first column after the months. The usage percent, so that is the percent that they're using between 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Right next there you have the energy used, the actual energy kilowatt hours used during that time period. The PV output is the total amount of energy used. Excuse me here. Need a drink of water real quick. The PV output is, excuse me, frog in my throat this morning. As the AC kilowatt hour output of the array, the sold output is how much of that array you are selling back to the co-op. The AC kilowatt hours sold to the co-op right there, so that's the kilowatt hours sold. And then your new total usage that you're using from Midland Power. This here is showing that same information in similar graph as what we saw earlier. So your blue is the new usage there. The orange is the generation you have used from the array. And the yellow is the generation sold back to Midland Power. So this here is a chart showing the payback analysis without any tax credits. So when we're starting to look more detailed, we've seen earlier that a lot of those percentages of what they're using of their total energy during that 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. period was actually less than that 25%. So that does greatly affect our net cash flow here. So over a 25-year period, we are still in a deficit. This is a graph showing the payback over a 25, 26-year period. Here's the analysis with a 30% tax credit factored in. So if you're eligible for this, this is definitely something that can help shorten that payback period for you. So you can see these numbers here that still not a very quick payback, but after 20 years or so, it does start to save you some money. This is showing you that same thing that we just saw here with the 30% tax credit, showing you where that starts to make sense. So we've looked at what if you install your own solar array. Midland Power has also we've installed a solar array up at our Iowa Falls outpost, and we offer subscriptions to the energy produced by that array for our members as an alternative to actually installing your own. And in some cases, this makes more sense for people. What this is our community solar program runs through February of 2037. It was started in 2017. It was a 20-year program. The reason for the 20-year program is that was the warranty on the system when we installed it. The current cost per subscription is $550. And if you buy 10 subscriptions, we'll give you the 11th one for free. And that is in blocks of 10. So if you are eligible for 22 subscriptions and you buy 20, we will give you the 2 additional ones free. So you can see the benefits of solar without the hassle of owning your own system. We are responsible for any repairs, maintenance. We pay the insurance on this array. The estimated annual benefit is $50 a subscription, and you can purchase as many subscriptions as would offset 80% of your annual utility or annual electric usage. This here is a picture of our solar array. As I mentioned, the cost of for 2024 is $550 per subscription. And for a limited time, we are giving away these Yeti mugs for anyone who purchases. So you buy 1 subscription, or if you buy 11 subscriptions, we want to give you a Yeti mug to thank you for participating in our program. And we'll be giving those out as long as supplies last. So why choose community solar? There's no lifestyle changes that you need to make in order to make this make sense for you. This is it's netted on a monthly basis. So at the end of the month, we will take your total usage and that'll show up on your bill. And then we will take whatever you are allocated from the community solar, and that'll be credited to you on your bill. So you don't need to worry so much about what are you doing between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. So if you and your wife work outside of the home during the day and you're just more at home in the evenings, this might be an opportunity for you to still invest in solar and have it make sense for you without having to look at a battery system or something like that. You don't need to worry about any shading. So if you have a lot of trees around your property, you don't want to trim those back to provide an unshaded area for your solar, this might be a good option for you as well. The production credits appear on your monthly bill. As I mentioned earlier a little bit how that billing works. You're supporting renewable energy. There's no maintenance or repair costs, no additional insurance costs. It keeps your roof and shingle warranties valid, so there's nothing going to be on your roof. And you get to enjoy the benefits of solar without having it installed on your property. So there's a lot of interest in solar these days, and a lot of people just trying to figure out, where do I start? So today, hopefully some easy takeaways for you is step 1 is what can you do to reduce your energy bill right off the bat. As I mentioned, something you could look at is LED lighting. You know, do you have LED lighting in your home already? Upgrade your old inefficient appliances, or invest in a heat pump if you have an older air conditioner unit. Check out our online solar calculator. So after you've looked at some of your energy efficiency things you could do, check out our website and go check out our energy solar calculator. So get a good idea, a rough estimate of what solar might be able to do for you in your situation. And then give us a call, because we want to help you through this process. We'll give you the facts. We are your credible source for all of your energy information. We want to work with you to meet whatever your goals are. So you tell us your goals, we want to help you get there. So with that being said, one question right off the bat that I get with people before we open it up to the room is, if I have a heat meter, so we have heat meters and a special heat rate if you do have a heat pump. And people want to know, do I get to keep my heat rate if I have solar? Short answer is yes, there is a way to do that. So there are two different metering setups that we have with our heat rate, and one is a parallel heat system. And what this is you have two services coming off of your transformer. And so your heat meter and main meter will be functioning independently of one another. The solar can interconnect to one meter. So you're going to be interconnecting that to your main meter. Not your heat meter, but you can interconnect it to your main meter. And so there is a way you can have solar interconnected and also have your heat rate. Now, if you have a subtractive metering setup, which is still common out there, the way you keep that set up and that heat rate is you will need to make your subtractive meter into a parallel heat meter. So the way subtractive heat metering works is all of your usage comes from one line off the transformer, runs through your main meter, and then when it gets to your house, there's a sub panel there, and that's where your heat meter is. And that's tracking that usage, and then at the end of the month, that energy is subtracted from your total energy and it's billed out separately that way. So hopefully that answers the heat meter question. Is there any other questions from the room? Yes, sir.
If you're part of the community solar project, are there any tax credits for being part of that?
There are no tax credits associated with the community solar program. It is priced with that in mind, though. So oftentimes investing in community solar will be a much lower upfront cost to you. So that there's trade-offs. Yep. Yes, sir.
With regards to this community solar project, it has a life expectancy until
February of 2017.
Till
37. Or 2037, yes, sir. So the question was the life expectancy of the community solar array. Our program runs through February of 2037.
So if you make an investment now, let's say $5,000 or 50, whatever, 10 shares, at the end of that time, your investment's gone?
So at the end of that time, hopefully you've made a return on your investment. The program goes away at that time. And then as it gets closer, I'm sure we'll be evaluating if there's other things that we want to do at that time. But if there is other programs, that would be a reinvestment.
So there's surplus generation in the summer months. Do those kilowatt hours get banked for use later in the year?
The question was if there's surplus generation in the summer months, do those get banked for later on in the year? I would be asking, are you referring to community solar or personal solar or both, or?
Just personal.
So personal solar? For personal solar, no. If there is any excess generation, those will get paid. Well, you'll get paid for those on a monthly basis. you'll get paid for those at whatever our avoided cost rate is for that month, and it varies from month to month. So you'll get paid for those. The avoided cost is the cost that it takes for a power provider to generate 1 kilowatt hour. So that is the price that you'll get paid for that, because you would be generating 1 kilowatt hour. So for every kilowatt hour you generate, you will be paid the avoided cost rate for. It's not a lot of money, but it's what we pay members, so it's fair. Good to go? All right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, going back to the community solar, the idea of 2037, aren't the solar panels still there? Wouldn't you still be getting energy from solar after that?
So the question is, after 2037, with the community solar panels, will the solar panels still be there? I guess the answer to that is it'll be up to our board of directors. They'll probably have to analyze how they are doing, how they are performing, and do a cost analysis if it's beneficial to keep them there, or if there is something else that we'd like to do at that time that might be more beneficial. Sometimes it makes sense to pull them out and start over. With the advancements in technology, that might be an option as well. We'll have to see what it looks like when that time comes.
I guess I was thinking the investments that people are making, would that be, as the years go on, as panels replaced with more efficient ones or whatever, wouldn't that be happening all that time?
So the other question, the follow-up question to that is, if there's ways to make the community solar array produce more energy, is that fair? Produce more energy during that time. Is there upgrades and things taking place? We are not actively going out and totally replacing the cost of the system due to the cost of that, but what we are doing is we are maintaining things, and if an inverter goes bad, we are replacing that inverter. If a panel becomes damaged, we replace that panel to try to keep up that efficiency to the best of our ability throughout the life of the program. By doing that, this has been this has been priced, subscriptions, that is, the subscriptions have been priced with that in mind accordingly, to hopefully keep that return on investment consistent. Yes, sir.
If there would happen to be a catastrophic event at that facility, and those panels are destroyed, would the people that have the subscription still get their amounts every month?
So the other question with the community solar is, if there was some sort of catastrophic event that wiped out the solar array, what would happen to the program at that point in time and the people who have invested in this? There is in the contract when you sign up, there is some language in there saying how that might work. It says if that Midland Power reserves the right to repurchase your subscriptions from you, that's going to be at a prorated amount, and I imagine that clause of the contract would be enforced in that event. So that way, we'd be buying you out of your subscriptions. Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you.
Thanks, Caleb. A lot of good information there on solar. There's a lot of new technologies in renewable energy, a lot of things coming down the pike these days, a lot of questions, tax credits, solar, a lot of things going on these days. Kind of hard to sort these things out sometimes if you're looking at new equipment or investing in solar. whatever the case may be. Midland wants to be your trusted source for information. We want to be able to help you along the path of some of these questions you may have when it comes to investments in renewables or heat pumps, whatever that case may be. We really want to thank you all for showing up today, all of you online. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate your input, your questions, our panel, EV panel. We really appreciate all the input. We hope you have a good Earth Day today. Enjoy the day, and thanks again for stopping by, and good morning, Shirley.